there's a sentence where you say it's better to be good for the community than achieving.
Okay, yeah. Achievement is, the Dutch say doe normaal.
Yeah.
Just be normal, and that is the aim. So the aim is not to be better than anyone else, not to be ostentatious, not to throw money around and say, look at me. They have less status anxiety, I think, and that's part of it being a more egalitarian society.
And you say kids are happy to play with second-hand toys.
Oh God, yeah. There's this huge market at Queen's Day, King's Day now that we've got a king, in April, and all the children take their toys that they've finished playing with and they sell them, and then they use the money to buy toys that they want from other children. So it's a huge kind of exchange, and it's all for a few cents, so it's all kind of, it's wonderful. And they come home with bags and bags of toys, which last them a year.
And so what do you do for birthdays and Christmas?
There's a kind of
presents?
No, there's an unspoken agreement that you shouldn't spend too much on your children, to keep them all equal. So you'd be excluding people if you were spending a lot more money. So if you go to a birthday party, which are also rather low-key compared to the ones you get here, then everyone would buy a present for 10 euros, which is not an incredible amount of money. So that everyone would have the same kind of thing, and there isn't any one-upmanship for I've spent more and I've got you a better present.
That's really wonderful. So that is across the board. It's more or less it's €10, and
you know how much to spend. Yeah.
And you buy second-hand toys for birthday?
No, we do. My daughter really enjoys going to the toy shop and choosing stuff for her friends.
Wonderful. This book is just so full of interesting points and wisdom. Yeah, you talk about teaching your children problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
And it makes them unflappable. So they don't freak out and wait for mum to solve the problem.
They solve it themselves.
They keep level-headed, and they...
Yeah. And you see that certainly in the older children who are going further. Secondary schools are further away than primary schools. So from the age of 12 they're going across the city, and they've got to deal with a lot more potential problems. Say they get a flat tire, or anything can go wrong, or if they're getting public transport, the trams aren't running. They have to be able to get back home and sort themselves out, and they do.
And from what age do the kids get cell phones?
Well, my daughter's got one at 10, but it's a really old second-hand one of mine. And then if she goes for a certain amount of time without losing it, when she goes to secondary school, she'll be allowed her own.
Right. And screen time?
Screen time, half an hour a day. That's our rule. It's hard to keep it, but that's the rule.
I can imagine. But they're happy, and they know that half an hour is
that's what the doctor recommends.
Limit, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then work-life balance. Parents have quite a bit more flexibility in the Netherlands. You said that the average parent works 29 hours?
Yeah, 29 hours a week. I think that's the average person, not even the average parent. Yeah, it's a part-time culture. So when I first found jobs, I worked in publishing there. I was offered lots of part-time jobs, and I didn't understand why. I thought if they got no money, they're only offering me 2 or 3 days a week. But it turned out that part-time jobs are just built into the system. That's quite normal, and that gives you a lot more flexibility as a parent.
It does.
Yeah, there's flexi working. I think you have that here now as well, don't you? Some people.
It's an option. Some companies allow that, but ultimately, the job needs to get done.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the same. The same too, and the productivity is actually really good. So, then they're not slacking off. They're just doing everything in the time they've got.
So, how would you sum up the difference between the kids and the parenting in the Netherlands compared to how you grew up in the UK? For one, you say that babies sleep better. There's more routine. The kids' voices are heard and encouraged. You actually have this whole thing about child-centered parenting.
Yeah.
Now, if I hear child-centered parenting, I think of what Amy Chua, the Tiger Mum, said about the UK and the US being so child-centered that it's all about not hurting anyone's feelings and talking about, you never mention that a child is naughty because it might hurt them or label them. But when you talk about a child-centered society, you mean something completely different.
I mean something else. I mean that the child is very much a part of society as an equal. not put on a pedestal or completely overprotected, but on an equal footing with everyone else. So the child is considered, the child has rights. The child, if you're going out for a day as a family, you will do something that the child wants to do, as well as things the parents want to do. So that they're taken into consideration a lot. That's true, but they're not catered to at the cost of everything else.